guys one more question before I ask some questions from the audience. I was at the IAB annual leadership meeting in Miami Beach a couple months ago and heard an interesting set of stats. Those being, mobile accounts for 23% of media consumption time, but only 1% of marketer spending. By comparison, print accounts for 6% of consumption time, but receives 29% of marketer spending. What I'd like to know is, how do you account for this disconnect between what's spent on mobile and how rapidly do you see that gap narrowing? And actually, I did have another question I'll just throw in here. This digital marketing specialist, how much do you value, or how much value do you see in traditional media such as print, TV, radio, and events? Maureen already talked briefly about this, so kind of a question.
So mobile, yeah. So the first thing that, it's an interesting disconnect. I think, especially from a B2B perspective, I think people are still trying to understand what mobile advertising means to them. I think the first thing that we really looked at was, if people are trying to find us on mobile, we better be found. I mean, we better serve up that information. So making sure that if they're reaching out proactively, that we have the information and it's easy to get to no matter where you're coming from. We have not done mobile outreach. We haven't done mobile advertising from a B2B perspective. And I think, that's still something that that's a nut we're still trying to figure out. Because I think it's all about where people are getting information, and if they're going to really take the action we want them to take in that environment. What was the second question?
Just what value do you see in traditional media, print, radio?
A lot of value. I think Google actually did a study, what was it, a couple of years ago, about how print actually influenced search results, right? So I believe it's completely connected. I know there's a lot of practitioners out there that say everything's going to digital, and I absolutely believe that. I think a lot of where people's information is coming from is digital, but I still think it is influenced by the other media outlets, absolutely.
I really struggled with the resources to do it all, and that's one of the reasons why we're behind on mobile, is, we're catching up on search and trying to understand that, and haven't been able to get the bodies and the resources to really go after it. I mean, we launched our website in the December time frame, and we need to optimize it for mobile. It hasn't been done yet. I don't have a resource to do it, And it's funny because our C-level suite is like, our CEO said, I'm on my iPad and it's not working exactly how I want. And I'm like, well, if you let me hire somebody, we can solve that problem, or it's not working right on my iPhone. It's like, well, it's because the technology, he thinks what you have on the web should work perfect on everything else. Right, so to try to explain to them that it doesn't, so I'm getting these phone calls about 24/7, I can't use the new site properly and these kinds of things. So it's trying for them to understand that these are resources and this is time consuming, and you have to put people behind it, you have to put spend behind it. I don't know if business has completely caught up with that investment. It's, if you talk about selling the C-suite and that, giving them metrics on how online works and how social media works, and you've got them digesting that and bought into that, and now you're telling them, now you have to go here. And you're telling this to people who spent their whole business career in print and in that, and now all of a sudden, in the space of a couple of years, you're trying to educate them on this and get them to buy into it and get them to fund it. You're asking a lot of these people who didn't grow up in that world and are running a whole business. And you could spend a lot of your time just getting them caught up on marketing, let alone the rest of the business. I think that it's just a struggle to really catch up in that. And I always think that our consumers, in particular business people, are leading dual lives. That's how I look at it. There's a lot of people who have one foot in traditional media and one foot in online. And how do you catch them as they live that life? We try to think about, how does a consumer, in our case, get up in the morning, go to work, engage at work, and then we try to look at the media that they would touch through that day, and some of it is print and some of it is online. Somebody may look at CNN while they're getting dressed in the morning, and then when they're at work, they're going to check the news on CNN on their computer, or they may check it on their phone or whatever. So it's all these different touch points, and how do you put them all together to really integrate?
I think I go back to this at-work state of mind, just to pitch the luncheon once more. mobile is just another tool in the toolbox. You know, as marketers, we've got a lot of tools at our disposal. And to Maureen's point, you just gotta figure out what is that right mix for what you're trying to accomplish in the marketplace. So I'm not surprised really by those statistics. I would see them kind of normalizing, but even when I look at our matrix of spend, or historical spend over the past 5 years, you can see where we've scaled back and where we've included. We have definitely shifted where we're spending our money and where our focus is, but it's not at 100% of the expense of other traditional things like trade shows or print advertising, because I think people are getting information from so many different sources. They're getting them 24/7. You know, I'm looking up emails and responding to, you know, going on the BMA site at my son's soccer games. I'm sure all, you know, everybody has those similar types of stories, and so as a marketer, you gotta just think about it so differently. And I agree with Maureen. This is one of the most exciting times to be in marketing, because literally 5 years ago, I joined USG 7 years ago. So I was gonna say 7 years ago, most of these tools didn't exist, and we didn't even think of. We barely knew what the web was. And so when I think about the rapid pace of change that we've had, it is exciting because it offers a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities to be really curious and try new things and be a lot more impactful with our craft, which I think is great. And that for me has been able to open up a lot more doors on our 18th floor RC level, because it is exciting. You can show results quicker. You can change fast. You're so much more efficient with your money too. It's not like you have a print ad that you spend $100,000 on. It's not working well, and now you got to go do another one. It takes you 3 months to get it, you know, in market. So